Hare Krishna. So, in this first video of our channel, let's just understand one of the important principles for investing, which is compounding. Albert Einstein says compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. And further says that it's not just the eighth wonder, one who understands it, earn it, and one who does not pays it. So, if you are in a debt and you are having compounding interest, then you are in a big problem. But if you are saving and your saving is giving you compound interest, then you are very happy. So let's just understand more about this compounding. So the definition of compounding says that compounding refers to earning interest on both the principal amount and any accumulated interest that can result in significant growth over time. So this is a simple graph that clearly shows that how your accumulation grows with simple interest and with compound interest over the longer period of time. So you can see the yellow line representing the compound interest. You can see that in the beginning, the yellow and red lines are seems to be same up to 5 years. And slowly, as and when after 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, you are moving forward, you can see that the difference between the accumulation you have through compound interest and the simple interest is also keep on growing, and it's growing exponentially. So more the time you are going to have this compound interest, you are going to have a huge difference between a simple interest and a compound interest. So for all those who are looking for a mathematical formula about that, so this is the simple formula about this thing. So where the amount is depending on your uh, principal, your interest rate, your time, and the compounding. And the most important time in this formula is principal and the time. So if you are investing very little, then my friends, however higher your rate is and the longer time is, you are not going to make money. And if you are investing with a good high interest rate scenario with good principal, but if you are not giving sufficient time, then also, my dear friend, our accumulated amount will be less. So we should always focus on our principal as well as the time, and should give the less focus on the interest rate. But nowadays, I think every investor is doing just the opposite. Nobody is paying any attention to your principal or the time. They are always focusing on which one is giving me the highest return. So they are always chasing the return. But we, intelligent investor, under this channel, Purposeful Prosperity, are not doing that mistake. So this is a simple example being illustrated where $1,000 in invested at a 10% interest rate for 20 years, and you can see that how your principal is going and the amount of difference that you can see in 20 years it's going to make if you have compounding and if you have simple interest. So I hope by this time you are pretty convinced that compounding interest is what you are looking for. You want your investment to grow through compounding. So there is a very famous story around this compounding where it says that there is a huge kingdom long back, and the king used to really like to playing chess. And once, when one of his minister defeated him in the game of chess, he asked him to reward. And in the reward, the minister simply asked that, can you start giving me grains of rice or wheat, and in one square, and in every square you keep on doubling. So like say in the square one, you have one grain, then the second will have two, then you have four, then you have eight, you have 16, like that you keep on growing. And you keep on giving me this thing until you reach to the square 64. And the king was really surprised. He was thinking the minister to be very intelligent, but the thing he is asking is in terms of some grains, and he really shocked it. But he said that, okay. If this is what you desire, so be it. And but my dear friends, the minister was very, very intelligent. Do you want to know what is the calculation turns out once he reaches to the block number 64 on the board? So this turns out to be, I'm not sure if I can read this number or maybe you can read this number, but this is the calculation shows. And this is the this much grains of rice or wheat. So if you look at this thing, then the entire planet of the wealth, then the entire wealth of this planet will also not be able, with that wealth also you are not able to going to get the fulfill the request which is being raised by the minister. So now you can understand that the minister was very intelligent. So this is the magic of compounding. There are three golden rules about compounding. The first rule says that patience is the key. You can see that the compounding is growing exponentially, but in the beginning it looks very growing very slowly. But as and when the time passes, you can see the actual benefit of compounding. If you see in the image, in 10 years, a person was getting some amount. In 20 years, you see just the amount is getting double. But from 20 to 30, the amount is getting more than double. So you can see the time is required. You need to give time for the compounding to work for you. So patience is the key. So that's the rule number one. Second rule is says that you have to start early. If you don't start early, you will not have sufficient time. So if you see a person investing in at the age of 20 and he keep on investing at the age of 40, he's going to get some 2.3 crore at the age of 60. But a person starting at age of 30, he's going to end up with 1.06 crore only. So you see, amount become just half, although both of them invested for 20 years. And I think the calculation will be going to be very poor for a 40 and 50-year-old person. So we need to really start saving from the early age and start and investing that into an instrument where it can really compound. And that can really give wonders. And the third golden rule, and I would say the most important rule out of all the three, is to never lose money. And Warren Buffett always marked this as rule number one, where he says never lose money. And in the rule number two, he further emphasized the rule number one by saying never forget rule number one. And I think that is where we make most of the investors make the mistake, where they always try to look for some risky investment, trying to grow their money. And by taking up that risk, many times they lose money. And for compounding to work, it's very important that you never lose money. So we, as purposeful prosperity viewers, we are always going to follow this three golden rules of compounding. Charlie Munger has given a very good statement around that side. It says it's so simple. Definitely, we also want our investing to be very simple. You spend less than you earn, invest crudely, avoid toxic people and toxic activities, try to keep learning all your life, and do a lot of deferred gratification. So you can see that he clearly saying that you have to spend less than what you are earning. And I think nowadays our young generation is spending money just like crazy. And the social media is putting up all the further pressure on the new generations to spend more and more. People are taking loans and spending money. But such an intelligent investor having so much of money, he's really giving and and a wise advice to all of us. Second point is learning is very important. You have to keep on learning. And I think the aim of this channel is to give you that learning. You have to understand some of these very basic principles of investing so that you can become a do it yourself investor. Then further, he says that if you do all these things, you are almost certain to succeed. And if you don't, you are going to need a lot of luck. And I'm sure Only a gambler needs a lot of luck. We don't want to become a gambler. We want to become investor like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger. And they are the two big personalities for us to take lessons from them. They have lived a long life and we can see their whole career and we can learn a lot from them. Not from some of these nowadays YouTube people who are saying that, okay, you earn 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or I have won 1 crores. How many of them are, after 20 years, are going to be like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger? I'm sorry, I think none of them. So I'm leaving up to my viewers to choose what they want to become. And last, he's saying that, and you don't want to need a lot of luck. You want to go in a game where you are very likely to win without having any unusual luck. So definitely luck is important, but we cannot leave all the work to be done by our luck. So we have to definitely invest in an instrument which we really understand and where things are going to compound and where we don't make any mistakes, and we follow the three golden rules which we have mentioned earlier. So thank you guys. Thank you for giving your time. So this was about the compounding. I hope you must have enjoyed it. If you really like this kind of a content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hare Krishna.